Welcome to the live streaming, and I'm the special host for this great event. My name is Ren Zhihong, and I would like to take this opportunity to share with you the fun tradition of China. We talk about the national treasure. Actually, it's not only limited to modern time, but more about the archaeology. So let's also take this opportunity to listen the voice of the history. And today we will through the A sound of the clock to bring the A sound of the history. I would like to show you more about the stories because I'm a really good storyteller. So welcome to our live broadcast, and through this live broadcast we will bring you the fun tradition of China, and we also have the relic doctors and the gentleman work for the Palace Museum, and we also have professor from Fudan University, and we also have the very famous show host. So the four gentlemen together will bring us the live streaming about the how are young people inheriting China's national treasure. We let the treasure to talk by itself. So once again, hello to all. Welcome to the storytelling about our national treasures. And this is actually a contest. Basically, we invite the contestants around China, so they will talk the very awesome and attractive stories about the national treasures. So if you're tuning in with CGTN yesterday, actually we already brought to you the very first episode. So yesterday, actually the main topic was the Guochao. That's in Chinese. Literally, that's the traditional treasure or the traditional assets of China in a very modern way, which is so appreciated by young generation. Right now, actually, that is the trendy thing in China, especially among the young generations. I believe actually that today we will hear more, and because today we will have the different theme. So this is our second episode, or this the second round of our contest. So we talk about whether we have any story related to the national treasures or the relics. Actually, for my hometown called Wenchuan, actually we had the places. That a lot of people actually, because my places back then belonged to the three kingdoms. So we really like to dig things out from the underground. So a lot of things actually brought in, but still we didn't have anything inherited now. So it's a big pity. So today we're not only to talk about the stories, but we'll also have a more interaction with our viewers. And once again, this is the contest. So it's included 4 themes. Yesterday we talked about the national trend, or the national treasures in a modern way, which is Guochao in Chinese. And today we will also talk about heritage, or the cultural inheritance. And also the other 2 themes actually is love and life. So basically we invited the contestants around China to talk about the stories, like either belong to their museums or whatever they had related to national treasures. So you look at the different relics, and that actually will have different stories behind the scene or behind the objects. So this is once again the context, and around China actually we attracted more than 1,200 work pieces that involved 190 museums. So basically throughout our live streaming we'll provide you this big feast to all our viewers to enjoy the long history of China, and also to enjoy the beauty of China's national treasure. So we talk about the young generations. One thing actually really embedded in our daily life, which is cloud, right? So that is also included in our topic, in our big name of our context. We talk about because of COVID-19. Right now we talk about everything actually go online. So we talk about we have online education. We talk about anything actually you think about can be conducted or realized online. So very special opportunity, and it's also the very first of its kind that we talk about the stories related to the China's national treasure online. So either we bring you the history, we bring you actually the modern spirit. We talk about we not want to just maintain the fun tradition. Actually, we would like to pass on this fun tradition of China. So we bring you the whole history, the very long history of China, well, also in a quite modern way, because like right now we're doing this online. So once again, we involved 190 museums. So the people from these 190 museums, they will talk about their stories, what treasures they had in their museum. You can see actually we involved the contest in different age groups, and also no matter which occupations you are, it's all can be a well candidate, a well qualified to enjoy and join this contest. So today, once again, is the a second round of our contest. So we have 4 big themes, and today we come to the second theme. Yesterday we talk about the national treasure, we talk about the national treasure in a modern sense, and today we talk about inheritance. So today we will have 12 storytellers to talk about their understanding of the cultural inheritance. Either it's based on the historical buildings, constructions, or the different instructions, or talk about the restoration of the customs. So today we will show the whole beauty of the inheritance. So that's the big theme of today's second round or day 2 contest. So we talk about actually without the inheritance, no matter how adequate the technique was, it was a pity, because for the generations to come, no one actually understand that, especially for our relics doctors. I believe that's part of our responsibilities. We talk about the inheritance, heritage. So we talk about we're also looking for someone to actually carry on our work. We not only pass on the relics physically, we also talk about mentally. So right now I'm using actually is from my masters. Basically the tools I'm using, I believe not only the physical tools that he gave to me, more about the mental or spirit. We talk about that's the something we talk about intangible cultural heritage, or that's more the spiritual inheritance. So talking about my family, actually my family grew up near by the Palace Museum. So talk about actually the my family members, what that's my job as a relic doctor when my son throughout his childhood. So right now he's the 4th generation of our relic doctors. So I'm the 3rd generation. So right now we talk about the partisan or my students actually right now they born late 1980s. So anyone, if you belong to this age group, you still have that opportunity to become a relic doctor. Right? Once again, we emphasize on the word inheritance. We talk about that's the technique inheritance that for myself right now I'm a professor at Fudan University, so more and more we talk about is more the education sector, or we talk about research part regarding the inheritance. So we talk about this not the just the technique passing on from one generation to the other. And right now, also from my side, my perspective, we would like to do more research and also like my students to carry on all this research. So we talk about actually there were a lot of the vlog regarding the unboxing, right? So today we also have that unboxing theme for the national treasures. Right? That's quite interesting, right? Let's look at the video clip. So back to October 2019. So this contestant is our first contestant for today. His name is Xu Wenhao from Shandong Museum. So this one actually is one of his favorite. And also the closest actually for today is my theme. So look at actually the clothes called Fei Yu. Actually, it's not a flying fish. Actually, that's the very special one. We talk about that with dragon hand and the fish body. But later on, it's become a pattern on the clothes. So a lot of the museum, the films actually had this. So this pattern actually quite frankly seen, actually this is something granted by the empire. So we look at the different animals as the pattern that also actually related to certain rankings or hierarchies. So we will show you this one. This is included in the Shandong Museum. We will show you the history of China. So this is more reflected the Chinese civilization, and this is actually the only one well preserved in China, and this is the closest belong to the person named Yan Shenggong. So we talk about actually a lot of things actually lost or burnt. But actually, this is a very rare piece that was this perfect preserved. So we look at that also reflect the etiquette of wearing clothes. We talk about etiquette was so important. One of the manner that reflected that etiquette actually based on that clothing part. So we have the person so really good at tidying up everything, especially the clothes. So basically, we have different person in charge of the collecting all these clothes and the managing all these clothes, and we also have the person to doing the head-to-toe merchandiser. So basically, we have different person related to clothing etiquette. So you can tell that if you have a person dedicated to certain title or certain job related to clothing, that reflects how people touch great importance on how they dress themselves. This the 125 centimeters long. We right now had a group of people devoted their whole life to shoulder that responsibilities that they would like to bring this great piece back to the modern time. They are the restoration people. They are the people bring the historical things back to the modern time that show that in front of all the people here. And we also have the people that help us to tell the stories. And we also have the people actually be the creator. Basically, they will really bring the whole stories back to the scene. So we talk about that this is only just a piece of clothes, but actually that reflects the whole memory of Chinese civilization. We talk about that we should bring this really the valuable things passed on. We talk about the fun traditional Chinese cultures as well as this kind of clothing etiquette that should be passed on from generations to generations. So the gentleman is a curator of a Shandong Museum and the splendors of Ming culture. So this is really a great piece. And this is something for the very, very first time you show to the public. So right now, our first contestant right in Shandong Museum. And behind him, we believe that is actually the piece we just saw in the video clip. So now we would like to introduce that how we unveil this piece. We talk about actually look at the two ladies behind you. What are they doing? They just make every movement really carefully and with really tight movement, right? Actually, this is the very first of its kind, the very first time that show everyone that how we bring these kind of relics displayed. So for all the audience, if you have a chance to go to the museum, you always see the relics actually already displayed in the boxes or in the glass boxes. Actually, this is something you haven't had a chance to see. So this actually is the work made by the people here in the museum that they with very soft, light movement, and they're very careful to unveil the whole piece. And look at the very small white cushion. Actually, that's also help to protect the relic. And we look at also this, the ties. Actually, we didn't tie them up because if we tie them up, that will also bring the damage to the relics. So we not really touch that. You know how long did we take to unveil the whole piece? An hour and 12 minutes. We need at least 1 hour to bring these relics inside the table, inside the boxes, and unveil it, display it. So people think about that this is a skirt. I think that this is a frilly skirt. Actually, this is a male clothes. And I tell you, actually, it's not really the soft, a texture. So it's quite hard. And this is another piece that we also show you this time. And you look at it, that's also with a dragon, a pattern. And this is for female. So this is a quite magnificent piece. So it looks so glorious. So look at these two really gorgeous pieces. So that's quite rare been seen in the history. And we talk about actually, you look at these boxes, it's just not so ordinary boxes. Actually, we have that a hydraulic pressure inside, make sure that we do everything we can to protect the relics, and also the audience can see the pieces clearly. So what exactly the black technology inside? Why we have this piece so well preserved? And look at, we have 4 secret white boxes. So that help us to monitor the whole environment inside that boxes. Like we have that the light, UV, VOC, toxic gases, the air temperature, and humidity. Actually, we had that standards for different indexes. Can I buy it for home? It's available. So I also can buy all these equipment, right? So I would like to protect my own clothes. So once again, this is a big feast. We talk about the good fortune of seeing this rare piece. This is actually, it's not an easy job to really preserve these kind of clothes in these really fine details. So we have that the really professional expertise behind the relics. So make sure that these kind of relics can pass on decades to decades. So thank you so much. That's our first contestant from Shandong Museum. So I believe just with the very first piece that make my eyes widely open. So come to our second contestant, also the youngest one this time. So hello to you. Actually, I'm so fascinated about the stories here inside the Forbidden City. And actually, I would also to tell you the stories that happened. So myself, actually, I made a mistake. And my mom saying that I should write a letter of self-inspection. So either the emperor, if we talk about they made mistakes, they also need to actually wrote this kind of letter. Actually, this history has endured around 2,000 years. So we talk about actually this is this kind of the self-examination or self-reflection. Actually, that's talk about the letter of self-examinations actually can trace back more than 2,000 years ago. So if we talk about actually the countries that suffered from the political changes or the disasters, the empires also wrote this kind of letter. So in the past history, we had around 200 these kind of letters. Some just for the sake of writing it, and some actually really they would like to reflect themselves to regret their guilt. So we also can see this kind of practice in the films or TV drama. We talk about actually back to the in the morning time in the ancient time. We also had that meeting happen in the mornings. This the meeting the emperor. So that in the movies or films, it's happened indoor. Actually, in the Ming Dynasty, it's happened also here outdoor. And also this happened at the Taihe Palace. So we talk about the Jinshen, the Taihe, and the Jinshen. These three halls actually also suffered from the lightning and the thunder. So also that because of these natural disasters, so the emperor moved to the Fengtian Palace to conduct that's the morning meeting. So it's like that he would like to conduct this kind of the outdoor meetings, that to show his true heart to the people. That the summer palace actually has already witnessed all different kinds of the emperors. And we talk about one of the emperor actually wrote 6 letters of self-examinations. So we talk about actually in the Ming Dynasty, they also practice a hearing system. So in the ancient time, what the emperor touched a great importance, or what they fear that they sort of someone will took their power. So this kind of letter of a self-examination actually is kind of the way that people that finding the inner peace or to strengthen or sustain their power system. So I look at the a tradition with the history of around 1,000 years, also become the a screenshot of the a past history. And of course, we talk about the a forbidden city that's already the a physical object or physical construction representing the long history of China. We look at the style of construction, and also we talk about the a textile. We talk about the relics inside the a summer palace, the a forbidden city, that the a signage or the marks of different history, and also the history of times. So I will be always the a commentator and also the inheritor of the Chinese civilization. So the boy just 10 years old. So very luckily, we invited this cute boy with us here today. So hello to all. So you're so fascinated with the Forbidden City. How you know all these kind of histories about the Forbidden City? So I will be 10 years old next week. So you are so familiar with the Forbidden City, right? I just knew the top of the iceberg about the palace. Actually, I was also a volunteer in the Forbidden City as a commentator. I also would like to work in the Forbidden City. So, Mr. Wang Jin actually is the Relics doctor working inside the Forbidden City. So I had 3 questions to Mr. Wang regarding the clocks. We talk about right now in the era of the modern time with the help of the advanced technologies. So we talk about we have all these helping hands. So why it's so challenging or so difficult to restore or repair the ancient clocks? So we talk about robots. Actually, may not really the helping hands right now for now, but we also use like the digital photoing, or we also use other digital tools to help us. So I heard that there is a timepiece, a clock, and we call it a clock that can write characters. So we talk about that before it could write 8 characters. Right now only could write 4. And of course, that's the 8 characters was not something random 8 characters. So basically saying that this clock actually is a gift from a British envoy in Qianlong Empire. So actually, we talk about a little character that actually wrote that 8 characters with a 1 knee band. So we talk about why we make that is because of the empire made it to do so. So you look at actually a lot of the characters in the ancient history that this for the sake of easy writing all these characters, and it's also the not so tall to write on the table. So that's a lot of characters you see. They always bend their knees. So the boy actually just a big fan of the A Forbidden City right now. He's making a video clip and to the a well-known figure in the A Forbidden City is the by Dan, the curator of the A Forbidden City. And right now he's also recording this video clip and also ask a question to the Biden, the curators of the Forbidden City, Mr. Shan. So actually, we look at this boy, actually, we already felt that his passion, his love to the Forbidden City. We hope one day we will see him walking inside the Forbidden City. So we saw your video clip, and we're also face-to-face here, had the communication with you here due to the interest of time, and your time is up for the contest, and wish you good luck. So a big thumbs up to this little boy. And for the next contest, actually he also did a quite famous figure online. Looking forward. So let's look at his video clip. And I believe the next contestant will talk about something regarding the clothing restoration. Also bring us the beauty of the ancient clothes. So we talk about that the people in the ancient time would like to decorate themselves or make up themselves by using the different kinds of the materials. And also we look at the different accessories. And also right now you look at this is relics found from different ruins and with really subtle fun details. And we need to mention that the gold techniques that we need to mention that because for the metal materials with their perfect flexibility and extension features that actually can make into different shapes. So we also talk about that this same technique as the textile, the ceramics, actually from the very simple technique to the complicated the technique from the simple or the single technique to a combined complicated ones. So you also look at actually before it's only the gold, but later on they also have a different shapes with different the textures on it. So we look at this is the metal work from a Tang Dynasty. And you look at this with very caved intricately. And also we look at the pearl also linking to that the work piece. That's also become the a hairpin. So we talk about that. You can think that's a part of the a fashion element and in the ancient time, and also that also should be a complicated level of that the accessories also show the hierarchy of that person, so that also reflects the unique luxurious history in the ancient Chinese civilization. So it looks so fascinating. It's really, really in the fine details that we can tell. It's really the exquisite pieces. So it looks so beautiful. So this is a team clothing restoration. So the lady is in this group in charge of doing research of documents, and the gentleman in charge of the looking into details of the films or the pictures. Actually, we also provide this kind of the clothes from a Tang Dynasty. And also you could see this kind of clothes in the films or the TV drama and in the Tang, reflecting the stories happened in the Tang Dynasty. And also look at the fashion elements. Actually, that's my belt. So we talk about the different time period actually in different the dynasty. They had their own features. We talk about the Taoist, or the Taoist priest actually also had their own accessories. So actually, that's for the a gentleman actually is wearing the clothes was in the Tang Dynasty, and the lady actually wearing something from the Song Dynasty. We talk about actually the we talk about the hair accessories. Actually, that's very famous in China. That's the step shake gold. So that from the name you can talk about that the gold actually is shaking while walking. So that's the a masterpiece back then. And also we look at the from my inner piece or the inside layer. Actually, that's also the a very important piece. And also look at my outer. Actually, is mesh. That's the really soft mesh. And we talk about the I would like to tell everyone actually I wore the Han clothes, the female piece myself. So we talk about The a dining technique also is quite unique. Especially you can see from the a right skirt. Actually, that's very different and unique dining technology. And also look at the shoes the lady worn back in the Eastern Han Dynasty. So with the a front toe curved, so that also makes sure you will not step on your skirt. So this is a really smart design. So we look at actually talk about the ancient clothes. If like people wear all these clothes in the a modern time. So we talk about that reflected already in the Chinese language. We talk about the ancient people because of the design of the clothes. They make sure that your whole body should hold tight and also straight. But also part of the clothing etiquette. So I'm quite curious that what is your inspiration to make you pursue a career of clothing restoration? Actually, we had really loved the ancient drama TV. Actually, for myself, before I just really liked to put the bed sheet on my body to pretend I wore the ancient clothing. So that also part of the inspiration. We all know that the beauty and also the smart design of the ancient clothes. So actually, we have been in this career for more than a decade. So just think about this, just a piece of clothes. There's so tiny element among that vast space of history. But you look at the cutting, the ending of the clothes. Actually, that shows the intelligence of the ancient Chinese history. So once again, you're looking a live streaming brought you by CGTN New Media, and today we actually help you to discover the craftsmanship spirit and the history of China's cultural relics, and we talk about that we would like the young generations to know more about the Chinese culture, and also we look at how the young people inherit the China's national treasure. And we also talk about this is the not the age special live coverage, it's also actually a contest. So that contest actually involved a more than 1,200 work pieces from 190 museums. So if you're tuning in with CGTN, yesterday we already showed you the pieces related to the national treasure in a modern fashion. So that's guochao in Chinese. And today, the key word for today is a cultural inheritance. And we also have another two topics, which is love and alive. So basically, based on these four big themes, we will see how the contestants to tell the stories they have related to the national treasures. So this is also a very special love coverage because that before people just physically pay visit to the museum, but this is time actually we bring the national treasures online. We talk about actually the storytelling about the national treasures via cloud. So we talk about for this kind of fun tradition and also the relics. We not just want to protect them so well. We also would like to pass on physically, mentally as well, a fun tradition and splendid Chinese culture, generations to generations. So this is a very special opportunity to all our viewers. So this is the very first of the time that we bring the treasures online. And this year marks the 70th anniversary of the war to resist U.S. aggression and aid Korea. So we talk about our next contestant. We'll also talk about that part of the history through the national treasure. We talk about with the national treasure with right DNA. And also we talk about what the national treasure is. Actually is a piece of instrument that help to encourage the troop, and also that's the secret code. It could be heard by everyone. And we talk about this is a military bugle. And the story happened at the third round of the war as the General 2nd, 10 p.m. in 1951. And they received the order that they should cut off the way of the enemies. So the Chinese army just used 1 hour to take up the base of the enemy and finish the task successfully. But the British enemy didn't give up. They actually had the attacked again and again. And they also had a big fire. So this is a quite brutal war, and the people will also look at the armed force. Our soldiers actually injured or even devoted their whole life. We talk about this is a task that should be completed successfully. And we talk about actually that the people should always stay fast to their position, that they, whatever they could do, they should maintain the dormitory of the battlefield. So the remaining 12 soldiers divided into 3 groups. They actually use up all the bullets and grenade. The whole war actually lasted to the 16 o'clock, and they couldn't find any bullets they could use. But the enemy just 30 meters away from the base. And they just had to blow that the bugle, and actually this is actually had that the moment the enemy actually heard the sound of the bugle. They thought that because the Chinese army actually is coming up as the backup team, and they have the whole teams to help them to win. Actually, the whole enemy is so afraid of that the sound of the bugle, and also that help the Chinese enemy to win that battle. I believe that's the so strong mental support. So this is really a key role played in the war field, that always can really encourage the soldiers in the battlefield to forge ahead, to win the battle. We talk about actually the role of the bugle actually is the irreplaceable instrument in the army, and also the soldiers work so very hard to realize the strong military building in China. We talk about the bugle actually carry forward the glory of the Chinese military soldiers, and that also carry forward the right DNA in China. Hello to all from the Revolutionary Military Museum. So we talk about the sound of bugle actually always brought us back to that heroic era. So why you choose this topic? So actually my hometown actually is the revolutionary base. And also this year actually marks the 70th anniversary of the movement to resist U.S. aggression and aid Korea. So that is why I choose this topic of the passing on the right DNA. So we talk about actually the role of the bugle back then, so important. If we check the historic document, so a lot of people actually knew the role of drums, right? But actually, later on in the Chinese revolutionary history, we always could have heard the sound of the bugle. Basically, that's the sound of the assaulting, and also kind of the encourage to the soldiers. Of course, in the modern time, we have not used the bugle anymore, but this is also kind of the symbol of the previous martyrs, or we talk about the glory era. So I would like to show you a piece of relic. So this is actually a piece of the trample from our hero. And the hero called Meng Xiande. Actually, this is the pieces actually the doctors took from his head. Actually, he injured in the war that happened over the sea. That we talk about his story. Actually, he already injured. Actually, that lost his consciousness, but he actually used 3 hours to restore the parts that's so badly needed to win the battle. And later on, the doctor actually had the operation on that gentleman, but also doctor told everyone that his brain nerve actually is seriously injured. So we talk about that we should have someone to really tell the stories of our heroes. So that the hero stories is so touching and also the inspiring that everyone actually paid salute to our heroes. We talk about that because of the heroes, they paved the way for us to live in today's very peaceful time. Because of all these heroes, they devoted themselves. That right now we can live in this very peaceful, tranquil time and life. So this is something, the stories we should always remember and also pay respect to our heroes. And their stories should be carried forward. Thank you very much. And also thank you for bringing us this very touching story. And for our next contestant, so basically, his story title, talk about that a young boy for 900 years. So hello to all, my name is Zixia. I also use stories to let everyone know more about the Chinese history. So this is a very important piece. We talk about this kind of the artwork. Is, for example, the riverside scene at Qingming Festival. So we talk about that's just around 40 years old. And also later on this kind of a piece, actually the person is 18 years old. So we talk about this already showed this talent in a very early young age. So at the very beginning, we talk about that everyone's talk about he was a talented boy, but actually he was not good at drawing or painting. So we talk about this is the long scroll. And we talk about this kind of art. Actually, you cannot just unveil it at once. That you should enjoy it well, unveil it. So we talk about the art piece or a form of this art piece. Once again, it's called long scroll. So it's show you the whole picture, the whole scene of a certain time period, and also show you that this is kind of the endless story, just vividly unveiled in front of your face, in front of your eyes. We see a scroll unveiled that really bring yourself inside this kind of a landscape. You just experience and also enjoyed this lucid water and lush mountains, and also to enjoy splendid landscape. And we talk about that this is a really smart arrangement of the landscape and also the arrangement of the whole art piece. And we also can find the very, very small details. We had a water pool, we had a monk in the temple, and also we have the birds, mountains. We talk about actually the piece we are looking at, actually not just a real scene. Basically, this is something the boy in his very young age desired to see. So we talk about this is maybe just a piece. We talk about the thousand miles of rivers and mountains, just reflect a vast land. But we talk about the boy, just 18 years old. He had not got any chance to see this vast landscape, but we believe that the boy just inside the room actually draw these kind of splendid landscape. I believe back then he also shocked the empire. So that's also showed his the widely the passion or pride of the nation. Actually, we talk about the drawings just reflected the part of the national culture and civilization. We talk about the desire of the boys actually also reflect everyone's desire, and also that's become one of the reasons that why Chinese culture could be passed on decades. So we talk about the ancient times long screw, just like the film in the modern time, that really show you the vast landscape with very subtle details, different characters, the land, mountains, rivers, all included. So just a piece of long scroll equal to a film. So I believe if we put it in this way, it's better for you to understand this art piece. And also you can see this kind of the art piece that, for example, in the Forbidden City with the Palace Museum. And we talk about these kind of art piece, we not really often display. So we talk about the if you unveil the long screw, actually every time you open it, you display it, you need to repair it. So it's really rare to display this kind of art piece because we want to minimize the damage to this valuable asset. Because we want to protect the cultural relic. So we really, if that we display the long screw and also display for a really short time period. So maybe we have some technical difficulty. So I really would like to ask her whether for herself she had any chance to enjoy that a piece of a long scroll. So right now understand a boy living for more than 900 years actually. We talk about in different museums. We also have this kind of well-preserved art piece. A lot of exhibition actually is so popular by the public. So if our audience, you are very interested in this kind of art piece, and please always pay attention to the release time or the event organized by the different museum. We talk about the river scene at the Qingming Festival. Actually, we displayed it before, but once again, these kind of art piece, we not really show it publicly quite often. So I saw that before. So we talk about the very famous pieces of display available to the public. So we talk about just like that you should not stop and look inside. You can talk about because there's a long queue that a lot of people eager to see this kind of the long screw. So right now we have our contestant. So thank you so much. You give us a really brilliant introduction about the art piece. So it's a pity that myself didn't have the chance to see that, but we know it's really the rare opportunity. So for yourself, you also quite like this kind of the ancient style, right? I also draw. I also like drawing. So I also actually in the art industry. I actually studied and worked in Italy for 5 years in terms of oil painting. So for myself, I really like the Chinese culture and the traditional Chinese art. So that is why I really have that my interest in the traditional Chinese painting, and also actually introduced the Chinese painting to my foreign friends, especially how you enjoy that traditional Chinese painting. So let me show you a very interesting story. So one time, actually in a bookstore, that's actually we saw this traditional Chinese painting with my foreign friend, and he actually asked me a story. So this is a really long screw, so we need a really big house, right, to hang this art piece on the wall. So I actually explained to him that this is not something that you actually hang up on the wall to enjoy. Actually, that you either have a table or actually you just hold it with your hands. So you unveil it while enjoying it. And after you sold the whole piece, you need to store them carefully. So I have a question. So we talk about. So for our foreign friends, because in the ancient traditional Chinese painting, besides the drawing itself, we also have that the characters actually on the art piece. So we talk about actually the foreign friends. They actually can so understand the Chinese characters. So this is a very interesting. You look at the for the calligraphy, the brushes actually. So the foreign friends actually have no difficulties to enjoy all these. So actually in my working history in the museum, actually we had an oil painting. Actually, it's made by the Chinese artist, and actually we talk about oil painting. Actually, that's Western style, but actually that's reflected the Chinese history, the Chinese scene, and also drawn by Chinese people. So we talk about actually for foreign friends, they're quite interested in the Chinese painting, and we also talk about actually look at this quite combination of the Western and the Chinese painting. And we also talk about actually you look at the Western world, actually they had that the oil painting. They also have the theme reflecting the Chinese culture. Actually, we talk about back then, we talk about textile, we talk about the Chinese ceramics. Actually, a lot of these things exported to Europe, and also the pattern on these art piece actually reflected China. So actually, based on these exported ceramics or textiles, silk, actually the foreign friends back then in Europe actually reflected their imagination about China through their oil paintings. So back then we talk about the 18th century in Europe. Actually, the Western world is quite like Chinese culture. So we also talk about the fashion or trend of China back then in Europe. So we talk about this Western and Eastern culture, but actually, if we talk about under the context of art, there's no boundary. And to our next contestant. And this is from the Fantastic Museum. And we talk about for the young generations, they quite like the Han Chinese clothing. And also especially these kind of embroideries on the clothing actually reflects the Chinese civilization and also quite welcomed and appreciated by the young generations. And we also talk about the technique of the embroideries. We don't want them to disappear in the time to come. And we talk about the cutting edge techniques. One of the good examples is the oiled paper umbrella. And actually, this is a modern umbrella, and we talk about the oiled paper umbrella. Actually, it's not only for the raining day. Actually, we also use that for the marriage, and also for different colors, and also for the different scenarios. Actually, the oil paper umbrella, not only for the day-to-day usage, and also have these special meanings. And look at its round shape, means the harmony and the good luck. And also it's actually the very complicated. The process is need 72 process to finish this one oiled paper umbrella. And we talk about the always can find the store to make and sell the oil paper umbrellas, but actually it's really time and high count needed. So right now, actually, not really a lot of people carry forward this kind of the fun tradition. So we talk about. Have you heard anyone that can really help you to restore these ceramics? So this is kind of the people actually to repair the ceramics. So this is a kind of a craftsman as a very special title with really a cutting edge technique they owned. So we talk about the technique basically is you stick the pieces back and also use the gold to fill in that part of the stitching. So this kind of the technique that reflects the intelligence of the ancient people, that we would like to see more people the first to know, to understand this kind of technique, and also we hope to see more people can really learn that technique and carry forward this Chinese intelligence. We talk about that if a ball is broken, then we just throw it away because right now we don't know how to really to bring it back. Actually, for the elder generations in our childhood, actually we saw this kind of craftsman before. Basically, this kind of the craftsman actually is to glue or stick the broken pieces back as the whole piece actually never broken before. And the gentleman actually the owner of the fantasy museum. So why you name your museum as the fantasy museum? So actually that we really would like to show you that really the rare relics that the public knew. You think this is all fake relics, actually they are the real ones. So a lot of things actually people not really know that before. So people really like to help us to promote these kind of relics. So we talk about the fridge. And we also have that fridge. So this is the ancient time fridge. You don't need electricity for sure. So this looks so heavy and in brown. So this is actually included in 2 pieces, and they also have the inner piece. So between the outer layer and the inner piece, actually you can lay the ice cube inside. So this kind of the ancient fridge only for the really the imperial families. So for the mass public, it's really hard to afford one. So we talk about the really the nobility family could afford one. But we talk about the logic behind is quite the same as the refrigerator we have today. Actually, my family had always be interested in relics, and we also actually collect the relics, and I also learned a lot of knowledge from the experts. And I also had a friend that also interested in relics. So we also would like to had a platform to share the relic we collect or the knowledge we learned. But we also would like to educate the young generation. Of course, it's not in a boring way, right? No one really would like to learn knowledge in a really boring manner, especially for the young generation. So that is why we use a very interesting way. Let's see the relics you think is fake, but actually it's the real one. So this kind of really interesting topic really draw the young generation's attention. So look at this is the very first piece I collected. Actually, I just tied my shoelace while discovered this piece. So that's 10 years ago. I paid a visit to an exhibition, including 400 pieces. So I tied my shoelace, and I found actually at the very bottom level of the displayed boxes. It really catched my eyes. So we talk about, if we talk about the jade ware, actually also divided into the three different time period. And we talk about the if the jade ware from the Ming and Qing dynasty is reflected the real scenarios. And we talk about the early days. That's also the another time period. That's actually the very simple and a single the technique to make jade ware. And also we talk about the middle time period. That's the time period between the early days and the Ming and Qing dynasties. So basically that's the time period to produce this kind of jade ware, and that was also the peak time of producing this kind of the jade wares. We talk about, if you could see that actually we had that hollow structure, so it's actually the 3D construction. So you think about this. So in a really ancient time, we can make this 3D construction, and also look at the pattern is also in 3D fashion with this hollow structure. So we could tell that this is really the high level technique. And also later on, that look at this is right now the 3 layers, but later on in Qing and Tang dynasty it became 2 layers. So we talk about that, say in Song dynasty, actually you look at the pattern actually reflect the birds or fishes. That's also the key theme in the art piece. You could find a lot of this kind of pattern in the painting pieces. So we talk about Emperor Song Huizong of Song dynasty. He's also quite good in the paintings. So we talk about that he himself loved so much about birds and fishes. That is why we could see, because of the empire himself loved this kind of pattern. That is why you could always see this kind of pattern in different kinds of art piece. So thank you for showing us so really interesting stories behind the relics, and actually for you and your friends really make it down to earth and make the relics just so close to our life, make people really easy to understand the history behind the relics. So we believe we'll also have a contestant will later on talk about the cloisonné. So the Chinese cloisonné. And here it comes. So hello to all, my name is Xiaomei. So I'm really glad to enjoy this contest. And today I will show you a technique that actually originated from Yuan Dynasty, and the color actually can show a really pure blue as the sky, so we always call it the cloisonné. So you need to pay the visit to this factory. So 173 centimeters, and look at this is 2.5 meters, it's like maybe the same tall as Yao Ming. So this is so a subtle detailed cloisonné how it produced. So this is a producing factory, and this factory actually reflects the spirit of craftsmanship. So what process is involved to produce this kind of a cloisonné? So first of all, the raw material is white copper, and first of all, we need to make this kind of, maybe you can consider it as the mold. And of course, mold is so important because it lays the foundation. So it's also required a high level of craftsmanship. And also later on is also the inlayer. So we look at it as basically the decoration on the cloisonné. And then come to the next step. So we need to put the 8 colors. So basically right now we have 60 to 70 colors available to the cloisonné. So we talk about this also the process of enamel. And you look at our craftsmen actually use different tools to help them to bring the colors to the appearance. And then we bring it, it's the time to fire inside the kiln. And we also need to do the other 2 process. Can you tell the differences between these 2? So we also need to polish the appearance. And also we need to have a golden finishing on top of that. Make sure the appearance of the cloisonné is not oxidized. So look at this is really the adequate piece and required really the high technique, and also always show the spirit of craftsmanship. And this is the really popular among the young generation. And also look at this also reflects the big themes right now, the COVID-19, and showed respect to the medics in the front line. So it's not easy to produce a piece of the cloisonné, and involved a whole bunch of difficult process. We talk about this art of fire because it needs to be fired inside the kiln, and also we hope that it will also shine its beauty in the modern era. So this is the whole sexy of the Chinese cloisonné. So after saw her video clip, we believe we had a lot to say. So let's welcome our contestant on the stage. Hello to all. My name is Xiaomei. So really, you've broken one piece, right? So actually, I need to work for 10 years to pay the bill of that one piece. But I'm very glad that we could make this video clip. So we talk about actually had different bloggers like the makeup bloggers or the wardrobe bloggers, but for you, you choose a quite different subject, right? So for myself, I actually had opportunity to get my master degree in art from Peking University. So I believe I'm the one that is also my responsibility to really carry forward the ancient Chinese relics. And also for myself, I also would like to let everyone know something about Beijing, because this is something quite unique in Beijing. That's the Chinese cloisonné. So that's the factory you just saw is also based in Beijing. So actually, it's quite a pity because the length of the video clip, we didn't show the masters. So today we'd like to tell you one story named Zhu Liansheng. So in 1978, Mr. Zhong is 16 years old, and he studied the cloisonné back then in the school of cloisonné, and he worked for the whole industry for 5 decades. And also the later on, the General Secretary Xi or President Xi Jinping also make the cloisonné made by Mr. Zhong as a gift to the United Nations. So what's your job? So I'm also a radio program host from the China National Radio. So it's basically our colleagues, right? So we talk about the beauty of our national treasures. Actually, that's appreciated by people from all walks of life, people with different jobs. Actually, look at, of course, also with a different age. They all have their interests in the national treasure. And one time I was in Shandong, and the lady actually pregnant for 4 months. It's also the context related to relics. So his DA presents so touching and actually show us in a very short time period that really show the beauty of the national treasure. We talk about actually the national treasure have that really the chemical to the public. So before we talk about the commentator of the national treasure or the show host, actually are the totally two different jobs. But right now you can see people are actually with different job titles. Actually, they all can be a commentator of the national treasure. I also would like to invite our specialist and also the relic doctor to join our show as well if we have opportunity in the coming days. So we talk about in the end, we would like to let the national treasure to talk by itself. Let the national treasure to reach to the wider population. And this is a traditional Chinese maiden. And that frequently shown in this kind of art piece or in a Chinese painting. Although we couldn't really tell the clothing that she was wearing, but we could tell because like ladies always love fashion, so that should be the really trendy pieces. And it's from Tang Dynasty. And also worked as a servant girl in a rich family. And we talk about actually from her round face, we also talk about it because that's also something quite appreciated in Tang Dynasty. So we always think about whether it's possible that we bring the national treasure, because we talk about we want to let the national treasure can speak for itself. Then maybe in cartoon or animations, we can really use the national treasure or the characters from our fun traditional Chinese history or Chinese civilization to really become the main character of the film or cartoons. So I believe that's a quite vivid way to let the national treasure to introduce themselves, right? This is a quite creative way. So I talk about that the voice. We also can, like first of all, let our voice represent the national treasure. Hope we can always convey the beauty of the national treasure. We don't let everyone or audience to upset. So we talk about that in Chinese language. We also talk about that maybe also that we can use a different and not only the different way of speaking, maybe also a dialect. So because I'm from Sichuan province, so you see Sichuan dialect.
你梳着少女特有的双垂髻，端庄可人。你脸颊饱满。小巧的鼻子和嘴巴都让人怜爱。你穿着圆领宽袖袍，襦裙上的花色都已经看不到了，但一定是当年最时兴的纹样。
少女声线。
那年的我刚过10岁，妈呀！我在大唐贵族人家当丫鬟。但我悠然的样子
说明心不累，
说明心不累，
因为我是大唐的一枚胖妹子，
因为我是大唐的一枚胖妹子啊！1000年后的胖妹儿如我，看到那时的你，真是羡慕、嫉妒、爱。
非常好！
我的妈呀，大家见笑了，见献丑了。
So really, it's a really creative way that we really talk about if we can let our national treasures to speak, then that maybe you see a traditional or a standard Chinese language, and also maybe use the dialects. Actually, if you think this way, that we can really, like, if put it in an English context, then maybe we can use the Queen's English to like dub for the national treasures, or we also can use the language, let's say in Irish or Newcastle, like Northern accent, to really speak for different national treasure.
“你梳着少女特有的双垂髻，端庄可人。你脸颊饱满，小巧的鼻子和嘴巴都让人怜爱。你穿着圆领宽袖袍，襦裙上的花色已经看不见了，但一定是当年最时兴的纹样。那年的我刚过10岁。”我在大唐贵族人家当丫鬟，当我悠然的样子，说明心不累，因为我是大唐的一枚胖妹子呀。1000年后的胖妹如我，看到那时的你，真是羡慕、嫉妒、爱。
So Mr. Ren, we can tell he actually is the master in the dubbing world. And actually, Mr. Ren is very famous. And if you hear that his voice, actually, we could tell that maybe we're just watching a program in the documentary channel. So we talk about once again if we can really choose a perfect voice for the relics. So I believe actually Mr. Ren have a lot of fans for his voice obsessed fans. So thank you very much. Hope one day we could really see the cartoons or animations that we have the dubbing that make the national treasures tell their own stories.